Well, again over here I have chosen the FANG company coding questions, and here I'm taking the Python, and here I chosen free questions, and the difficulty level is medium. All right, so let's see which question to solve today. So I'm going to try this question. Okay, this is for general practice for us in the interview for Meta and Facebook. Here comes the question. It doesn't talk much about, it simply says find the rate of processed tickets for each type. Let's have a look on the data. So here we have the preview of the data. So what it is saying is there are two types, 0 and 1. Okay, so for each of the type, for example, for the issue type 0, there were three issues, right? There were three complaints, out of which two were resolved, one is not resolved. So you gotta find the rate of the resolution. Okay, resolution rate, which will simply be 2 by 3. Okay, because total number is 3 and out of that 2 has been resolved, so it will be 2 by 3. Same goes for this one, 2 by 3. Okay, because 2 has been resolved, 1 is unresolved, so and the total issues were 3. So it looks pretty simple, isn't it? The problem statement is simple. You have this data, you gotta summarize it something like this, right? And then you gotta divide false divided by, you gotta divide true by the sum of false and true, and you get this kind of processed rate. And because in the output you are expected to show only two things, which is type and processed rate, so the output is going to look like this. So it looks pretty simple, right? But the question comes, why would somebody ask this in interview, and that too for a company like Facebook or Meta? There must be some catch, right? If you're thinking so, then you're right. So here the catch is, you see this processed, okay? These are the Boolean values, 0 and 1. So when you summarize that, you are not going to get this kind of pivot, right? This kind of format. This will always, even if you get this, you won't be able to simply do the calculation using this. So what are the things that you would particularly require to take care of, and how would you handle this? That's the catch hidden inside this question. Otherwise it's not a big question, not a very tedious question or difficult to solve, right? The only catch is this. All right, so let's just jump to the Jupyter notebook and try to solve this. How can we solve this? So in the Jupyter notebook, I've already imported the data. So first thing which we're going to do is, let's just summarize this data. Okay, so for that what we're going to do is df dot pivot table index. In the index I'm going to use, all right, type, and then in the columns I'm going to use, let's just give it a second, let it complete. I'm going to use, let's say, processed, and the aggregation function which I want to perform, that is count. Okay, let's just see. Yeah, we got this. This is exactly what we were looking for, right? So let me just do this index, sorry, reset index. Though it's not a very difficult question, but little tricky. Okay, now we're gonna store this in our table. Let's call that summary, and let's try to print that. Here we got that, right? So here we got type, false and true. Now the next thing which we need to do is divide this by the sum of these two, but for that you would require to rename these two things, because if you see the column names, see how the column names are coming: complaint ID false, complaint ID true, etc. So we would require to rename this, and to rename this there are two options. Either you take each of the column and rename that, or I'm simply just going to do a prefix with prefix in all of these column names. Before that, let me show you, because that is still the Boolean type, right? Because over here, whatever the data we had, let's say info, okay, info over here, so you see processed is Boolean. So in that case you cannot do the division. Let me just show it to you. Okay, let's just try to solve this. Okay, let's say here the column is for true. You're gonna divide true by the sum of false and true. But this is not going to work. This is going to give you the error, because see, true, it is saying that there isn't any column, because here we are defining it as a string and there is no string, right? If you remove the string like this is going to be work as a Boolean value, and still that's not gonna work, right? You see over here, it's not working. So what is the solution in that case? So let's just try the solution. So the solution resides in renaming these variables. How do you rename that? So the shortcut is, let's call it add prefix. Add prefix, and you put the prefix which you want to use, and let's just store that in summary itself, I mean in the same data frame, and let's just try to print it. Now you see over here, here's what you get. Now there is one more problem. This is coming, right? So let me just do one thing. Let me just take this column name from here, complaint ID only, and let me try to put that into the values. Okay, and now let's see. You see this is sorted, isn't it? Now the next thing is very simple. You just need to do the calculation. Okay, so I'm going to create another column into the same data frame, and let's call that, what is the name that we need to give to that column? That is, let's come back over here and go over here, and let's see what is it expected. Processed rate. It asks us to put the processed rate, so I'm just going to put that, and after that I would say summary, and here that should be underscore true, divides by this plus this, and let's call it false. All right, here is what we got, but in the output we require only two things, type and the rate. So let's just put that underscore type, because in the solution it is not expecting you to produce the exact same column name, right? So that is fine. Right, you see, this is what we got. We are sorted, right? We are done with this. So let's just try to put this data into the solution and see if this gives us the correct answer. Over here in the coding I'm putting this, and the data frame name was, let me see if it has the data frame name. Why is this not showing the data frame? Yeah, here, Facebook complaints, right? So here I will just say tf equals to Facebook complaints, right? Let's run this. The code is executed. Let's check whether it is correct or not. Yeah, it says this is absolutely correct. All right, so this is how you can solve this, right? I just hope that it was simple for you to understand, and the only catch was the Boolean value. So whenever you get any this kind of Boolean problem statement where you have to perform the calculation using that as column, do not forget to use this kind of trick. Okay, I just hope that it was simple for you to understand. Just in case if you get in doubt, put that into the comment section. I'll definitely try to reply you back, and if you like it, share it with your friend, give a thumbs up, and for our motivation, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks once again. Wish you good luck.